Guys, today I'm going to open up the 73 TS or a TC125 a little bit more, just to make sure that I know what kind of parts I'm going to need. I'm probably not going to open the whole thing up, but I'm going to get the side cover off to make sure that the transmission doesn't have a bunch of water and rust in it. So we're going to get on with that first off, and then sometime today I think I'm also going to try to get on the TS250 motor, so kind of watch for that video pretty soon too. All right, let's get on with it. Got it here in the stand, and first thing I'm going to do is drain the oil or whatever's in it. I think these TCTS 125s had this drain plug here in the side. From about 71 to 73, I guess, this model. Because the 74 that I did last winter, it did not have the plug there. This doesn't even have a drain plug in the bottom. But now the new ones do. They have it at the bottom. They don't have the side one. Well, so far so good. Looks like we've got nothing but oil coming out. That is a good sign. Okay, we'll get on here and get some of these screws loosened up. Got some dirt I need to get out of that one, I think. Here's the clutch rod. I'm going to have to move you just a minute. Couldn't swing the hammer and with your big head in the way there. That is a good sign with it not having any water. Yeah, I saw something on one of the forums here not too long ago. Somebody was wanting to know about this drain plug here. And I think at the time the person that answered that said that there were only like 2 or 3 years there that had them there. And this is one of them. Yeah, I think I got them all out. Sure feels pretty solid yet. Well, that thing was glued on both sides, looks like. That's why it wasn't wanting to come off. Yeah, maybe not glued, but it sure was sticky on both sides. Well, everything looks okay in there so far. So our seal did its work on the crankshaft there. I can't get the piston out. I can't get the pin out of it. I broke the skirt off there trying to get the pin out. So I'll just have to, when I take the crankshaft apart, you know, the rod and everything's toast anyway. I'm going to turn this over and just let it drain for a little bit. While it's draining, I'm going to go ahead and take apart the mag side a little bit here. Get the lock washer loosened up there. Usually these things are pretty loose. I'm going to be able to get my impact on there or not. Nope. There we go. Just loose enough I could do it and hold it with the chain. Old junk chain. And we got our mag screws here. looks like I may be spared the typical stuff in here. This actually looks like original condenser. Of course, don't know about the points, but looks like we had a little leaking in there, and that looks like Marvel Mystery Oil, so it's been leaking some of that. Okay, let's see. See if we can get her pump out, I guess. It's about all that's left on this side. So far I'm not seeing any typical case damage here. Suzuki's really fare pretty well. The Yamahas were not as lucky. They'd usually get a lot of stuff around here that when the chain would come off it'd damage them. But these seem to do better. And let me see, that thing's probably not going to want to come off. Kind of trying. These things usually come right out. I think maybe this old crusty hose is causing me difficulties. Alright, got that thing off. Kind of holding me up. Alright, I think that's about all the damage we can do on this side. I looked down here and I saw what looked like some water in the oil, and it probably is, but it looks like it's coming out of the cylinder area. Yeah, that's it. So that's just a mess in there, I imagine. Let's get our crank washer unlocked here. Makes easy work of it. I don't like to use an impact for too many things, but for these, as long as you know which way you're going, you're not going to hurt anything. Well, now we got to pull all these pins, so let me get all my stuff for that. There's almost no graceful way that I've ever found to get these pins out. Sometimes you gotta let them just fall in there. I think I've got one in there already. Now it's not so bad right now, but if you're putting them in, that's not the right thing to do. There goes one. There he is. Can't believe I found it. Alright, all accounted for except for one that's inside, so it is accounted for, I guess. And there he is right there. There's some, if you ever lose these things, go to a truck maintenance outfit or something, and they will have bearings that have the same, pretty close to the same style pin size. The size really doesn't seem to matter. It's just as long as it'll do the job. All right, let's get this other. I just kind of use a chisel to get it started and then take a punch to flatten it back out. Just like that. And we've got our actuator. I'm actually going to do the penny trick here. No, that's different size. It's going to go that way, so I take my penny, stick it right there. And sometimes it deforms them. I just keep one of those around, it lasts me quite a while. A 1 penny tool. Well, it looks, so far looks really good in there, so we'll hope for the best. One thing you just pretty much ought to do before you try to pull the shaft out is get the rust off of it. A lot of times these are bent, I think on the 74 TC that I did, it was bent. We had to straighten it in the lathe. That ought to do it. Need a pair of pliers. Get her spring off. That's the best way to get it. There. Those are pretty tight, pretty snug spring. And we've got a 12 millimeter. Loosen the paw, or the follower, whatever you want to call that. And we've got a snap ring. And that a Phillips there. Our little washer there for the follower too. Okay. Be careful, you got a pin here that comes out. I think all these do, but this one here is very loose. That's the So you got to keep track of that one. Get him out of there right now. Okay, so we should be, so I think we can get this out. Got to make sure you get this up. And it's still acting like it wants to catch on it. Pull it back here a little bit. There we go. Well, that one's nice and straight. Come right out. Okay, we gotta get the keeper out there. In my opinion, there's almost no place to use an electric, or for that matter pneumatic, impact wrench on almost anything. I use it a few places, but it's usually to just run it in and out. It's not to loosen it. You do not want to try to loosen it with an impact, because all you'll do is strip the heads out of your screws. See, these, somebody's been in here. These are kind of messed up. The thing is with an electric or a pneumatic, you don't have that downward pressure like you do on one of these. This is what's going to get you out of trouble, are just the handheld pneumatic tool. If you're just running screws in or something and not tightening them or just running them out, that impact's pretty handy, especially when it's a very long screw. But it's not handy when you strip the head out. Okay, I think we're done over here. And I can't take this case apart, the cases on here, on this stand. I lose, since I'm bolted up right here, I'd have to loosen those and everything would be just a pain. So I'm not even gonna attempt it here. I think I'll go ahead and try to loosen the screws though, because this is very sturdy. So we can do that. Let's see. I don't think you're seeing what I'm doing here. Let's get back over here. All right. There's the other clutch rod. Finally came out. I'm gonna have to clean that one out. That's not gonna work. A few of these here would have just stripped out with a electric impact. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna have to clean my impact now. What I do is I get a scribe or an awl, anything pointy, you can get in there and dig that stuff out. Because if you don't, you have no chance of getting it out at all. And then you still want to give it a whack. Kind of get her in there. And I think, oh, I bet there's one right there I need to get, and it's got some trash in it too. It just the dirt and the grease that's in there won't compress enough, and you won't be able to get a good enough bite with your tool. So get in there and dig them out. Alright, I think I've got them all. That one, think Yamahas have one in there, but this doesn't. These, almost all these in the crankshaft area here were very tight. It took 2 or 3 strikes to get them. And I'm afraid that's because water had got into them, so I will see when we open it up. All right, I believe that's it. Okay, there's something I want to point out too. Down in here, you've got 3 of these that'll have a washer on it. See right there? And what that is, yeah, see the moisture's been in there? See how corroded those screws are? What it is these are tapped right here at the top for your puller to pull on your crankshaft to separate the case. So that one, this one, there's the washer. And this one, all have washers on them. And I guess the idea is to keep you from messing up the top of the threads, so you can still utilize them as a, so you don't damage the threads for your puller. But the rest of these don't have washers. And I don't know that I can show you the threads on there. I'm going to try. I'm not sure that you can see them. Maybe that one you can see. See the threads up there at the top. And the same with this one over here. Like I say, I don't know how much of that you could see, but I tried to get you in there. I never know until oh jeez, I just made a mess there. I never know until I get in there with and start putting the video up whether or not you can see it or not. Okay, I think we're ready to split this thing. If you folks remember in the 74 TC125 series, I made this case separator, and it worked good there, so we'll see if it's going to work again. And again, here's those holes that have the washers on them. We're going to thread these in there. I believe they're 8mm, I believe is what it was. And I used just a 1/2 inch bolt in the middle of this. Well, that one doesn't want to screw in there too good. I think this thing has got a particular way it goes. That's probably my issue. and I don't think I'm there yet. Let me get this thing figured out. Okay, I think I got it squared away here. So let's see if she's going to come apart. Yep. Got a little separation going. I still got a screw back there I need to get out. Thought I had them all out. They're all loose. That wasn't interfering yet, but it would have been. Alright, better give this a once over and make sure I... Okay guys, I had one more screw in there that I didn't see, and it was down here in this dirt. I think when I was taking the screws out, I said, well, I think Yamaha has one there. Their Suzuki does too. So now we should be okay. Just kind of got a tap on the back there because it's not able to keep up like the end with the puller on it. Kind of got to keep it square. At least they give you a good motor mount there to grab hold of. Here's the balls for the reduction shifter. Some of them anyway. What I'm seeing looks good in the transmission. Everything looks fine there, but not so much here at the crankshaft. Just got a lot of water in it. all this is going to fall out, so I just well take it out. Alright, I think that's all that's going to come out of there. I'll try to tap on this, but I'm probably going to have to. Nope, I believe it's going to come out. Yep, there it is. Small miracles happen. But we knew what the results were here. I'm surprised that this still moves, but I think we can clean it up and we'll be able to get a new rod and pin in it, bearing. So the only thing is this one got kind of beat on the crankshaft too. I'd hate that. A lot of times they beat on them on this end too. This one's good. This one I had to grind a little bit of it off just to get the nut off because it was mushroomed so bad. So when I get it apart, I'll probably set this up in the lathe and recut this this hole here so I can go back to and get a center on it when I'm putting it back together. Just going to look here real quick for inside the cases. Pretty nasty. Take a peek at this one. Yep, same thing. These old bearings right here are kind of expensive. They got the shield on them for the oil injection. But the good news is, apparently all the gears look good, at least at now, what I can see. So there it is, taken apart. Okay, guys. I had the we knew going in that we were going to have to overhaul the crankshaft and put new bearings in. The transmission looks at this point to have been spared all the agony of the water. We'll do an inspection on all those parts and make sure they're good to go back in. If we need something, we'll go ahead and get it, of course. I had the cylinder in the mail rescue all night, cleaned up wonderfully. I was very surprised, but I don't see a lot of pitting, but I'm going to go ahead and it's in the ultrasonic cleaner now, clean it up with soap and water, and when it comes out of there, I'm going to take it over to the hone and run it through just a few times, just to get a indication of what the rust damage is. Then we'll do a measurement and we'll see what kind of piston we're going to have to go back in with, whether it's a first or second over or whatever. Or, hey, we may get lucky and be able to put a standard in. I doubt it, but we'll see. And hey, if you like what's going on here, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscription if you have already. Thank you so much. hit the bell icon so that the next time I put a video up, you will be the first one to get it. Thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.